Imagine this. You're standing before a roaring furnace, its flames reaching high into the air. The heat is unbearable and sweat drips down your face. You've been given a choice: bow down to an idol and save your life, or refuse and be thrown into the fire. What would you do? This isn't just a dramatic scene from a movie. It's a real story from the Bible, one of the most powerful examples of faith and courage. Today we're diving deep into the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, three young men who refused to compromise their faith, even when their lives were on the line. But this isn't just a history lesson. This story has deep lessons for us today, about standing firm in what we believe, even when the world pressures us to conform. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand not only the power of faith, but also how to apply this lesson in your own life. Let's get started. Our story takes place in Babylon, one of the most powerful kingdoms in history. And at the center of it all, King Nebuchadnezzar, a ruler who had conquered many nations, including Israel. He took many Israelites captive and brought them to Babylon, forcing them to serve in his kingdom. Among them were three young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were Israelites raised to worship the one true God. Now, Nebuchadnezzar was a man of power and ego, and like many kings of his time, he wanted to be worshipped. So he came up with an idea. He built a massive gold statue, 90 feet tall, and ordered everyone to bow down and worship it. To make sure no one disobeyed, he made this clear: whoever refuses to bow will be thrown into the fiery furnace. Sounds extreme, right? But in those days, kings expected absolute loyalty. So when the music played, everyone bowed, except for three people. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow. Why? Because they knew only God deserved their worship. This wasn't just about avoiding punishment. This was about their faith. They believed at God's command, "You shall have no other gods before me." So they stood tall while thousands bowed around them. But of course, people noticed, and some of them ran straight to the king. "O King Nebuchadnezzar," they said, "these three Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, refused to bow to your statue." Nebuchadnezzar was furious. No one disobeyed the king. So he had them brought before him and gave them one last chance. "Is it true," he said, "if you bow now, you'll be spared, but if not, you'll be thrown into the furnace. And tell me, what God can save you from that?" Now, this was a defining moment. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could have made excuses. They could have said, "We'll just bow on the outside but still believe in God. It's not worth dying for. We can always ask for forgiveness later." But they didn't. Instead, they looked the most powerful king in the world in the eye and said, "O king, we don't need to defend ourselves. Our God is able to save us from the fire. But even if he doesn't, we will never worship your statue." Did you catch that? Even if he doesn't. They trusted God whether or not he saved them. That's real faith. Not just trusting God when things go our way, but even when they don't. Nebuchadnezzar lost it. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. It was so hot that even the soldiers who threw them in were burned up. Imagine that. But then, something incredible happened. The king looked into the fire and jumped back in shock. "Didn't we throw in 3 men?" he asked. "Yes, O king," his servants answered. "Then why do I see 4 men walking in the fire, completely unharmed? And the 4th looks like the son of the gods." Nebuchadnezzar ran to the furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, come out!" And when they stepped out, not a single hair was burned. Their clothes didn't even smell like smoke. God had protected them. The guards who threw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the fiery furnace were instantly consumed by the intense flames, proving just how deadly the heat was. Yet in a stunning display of divine intervention, the 3 men remained completely unharmed, with the only thing that burned being the ropes that had bound them. This miraculous detail not only demonstrated God's power, but also symbolized how faith in him can free us from the things that seek to hold us captive. Nebuchadnezzar couldn't believe his eyes, and in that moment he completely changed his mind. He declared, "No other God can save like this. Anyone who speaks against their God will be punished." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't just survive. They influenced a nation because of their faith. Now, you might not be facing a fiery furnace today, but we all face moments where we have to choose between faith and fear. Maybe it's pressure to compromise your values. Maybe it's standing up for what's right when it's unpopular. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego isn't just about a dramatic rescue. It's about faith, courage, and standing firm in what you believe, even when the world pushes against you. Let's break down some powerful life lessons we could take away from this story and how they apply to our lives today. 1. True faith means trusting God no matter what. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't just believe in God when things were easy, they trusted Him when their lives were on the line. Think about their words. Our God's able to save us, but even if He doesn't, we will never bow. It's real faith. Not just trusting God when He delivers what we want, but even when He doesn't. It's easy to trust God when things are going well, when the job's secure, the bills are paid, and everything's falling into place. But what about when you lose your job? A prayer doesn't get answered the way you hoped. You're facing rejection, loss, or uncertainty. Faith isn't about getting the outcome you want. It's about trusting that God's still in control no matter what happens. Ask yourself, do I only trust God when things are going my way? Or do I trust Him even if the outcome isn't what I expected? Number 2, your stand for God can inspire others. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't just survive the fire, they changed the heart of a powerful king. King Nebuchadnezzar, the same man who threatened to kill them, ended up declaring, "No other God can save like this." Sometimes standing up for your beliefs won't just strengthen your own faith, it can impact those around you. I mean, think about it. When you refuse to gossip, others might think twice before speaking negatively. When you choose honesty over cheating, it sets an example. When you show kindness and love in a world full of division, people notice. You never know who's watching. Your faith and courage could be the reason someone else starts believing. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that points others towards God? Number 3, you will face the fire, but you won't be alone. Let's be real, life's full of fiery furnace moments. Maybe it's a personal struggle dealing with loss, illness, or anxiety. Maybe it's pressure at work or in relationships. Maybe you feel alone because of your beliefs. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego still went into the fire, but they weren't alone. Nebuchadnezzar saw a fourth person walking with them in the fire. Some believe it was an angel, while others believe it was a divine appearance of Jesus Himself. Either way, the message is clear. God doesn't always take you out of the fire, but He walks with you through it. When you feel like you're struggling alone, God's with you. When you feel abandoned, God hasn't left. When life gets overwhelming, He's right beside you. And here's the best part. They came out of the fire without even smelling like smoke. I mean, ask yourself, am I looking for God's presence in my struggles, or am I focusing only on the fire? Number 4, the fire that tests you can transform you. Fire isn't just destructive, it can also refine and purify. And the fiery furnace didn't just prove Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's faith, it strengthened it. And think about it. Gold is refined in fire. It removes impurities and makes it stronger. Steel is forged in intense heat, and without it, it would remain weak. The same is true for us. Sometimes our biggest challenges, our fiery furnaces, are what shape us into who we are meant to be. That difficult season you just went through, it made you more compassionate. That time you had to stand alone, made you stronger. That setback you faced, it prepared you for something greater. God doesn't waste our struggles. He uses them to refine us, prepare us, and deepen our faith. And ask yourself, instead of asking, why is this happening? Can I ask, what is God teaching me through this? Will you stand firm? The story of the fiery furnace isn't just about 3 men in ancient Babylon. It's about all of us. This story is more than just history, it's a challenge. Are you willing to stand firm in what you believe? Every day, we're faced with choices. Will we stand firm in our faith, or will we compromise? When pressure comes, will we stay true to what we believe? When challenges arise, will we trust God even when we don't understand? When the world pushes us to conform, will we remember who we serve? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego made their choice. Now it's up to us. Whatever you're going through, remember, God's with you. What's your takeaway? What part of this story speaks to you the most? Drop a comment below. And if this video encouraged you, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful Bible lessons. This is the Bible Unveiled, bringing timeless wisdom to life. See you in the next video.